Hello there, my beautiful friends, and welcome to another full week of food. So beyond grateful that you're here joining me for this one. I've named this video anti-anxiety, but I am in no way saying that any of these meals are going to heal, treat, or cure your anxiety. That is not the intention behind this at all. No food, no meal is going to be the catalyst to heal your anxiety. It is about a lifestyle and caring about yourself and having the attitude that you care about yourself. A lot of these meals are also very simple. I'm only cooking really one large meal a day, so that way I have leftovers for lunch or dinner the next day or a couple days later, whatever the case may be, and also a simple breakfast to just start the day with ease as well. So I just want this video, one, to be a nice entertainment, maybe give you a little giggle, maybe release a little bit of that stress and anxiety in your life for the 20-ish minutes that you're here. And I also hope that some of these meals will be put into your toolbox when you need a simple one to create in your kitchen. Another tool that I love in my toolbox is the products from Sage, and I'd like to thank Sage for sponsoring today's video. Let me grab their products, BRB. Okay, so what they do is create 100% natural products, and yes, 100%, not 97, not 99, 100%, which is why I love them so much. I've been using them for the last 10 years, which is so amazing for me to say, and I've pretty much used them on a daily basis for the last 10 years. Well before I was a YouTuber. I've loved their products. I've traveled around the world with them. I've made planes and public bathrooms smell like lavender and peppermint, and they've kind of become a part of my personality as a girly that always smells a little bit herbal. I don't love to use chemical-based perfumes or deodorant. I haven't used deodorant since I was 15 years old, so these not only help me smell amazing, but also provide me with all of the benefits that they offer, the ease, the stress relief in my life. So if you'd like to give them a try, highly recommend them. You can click my link down in the description box and use my code to get 20% off site-wide along with free shipping, and that's valid for Canadian and US customers. If you are traveling this summer like me, then I do recommend giving the travel kit a try, because you can choose 2 rollers, whatever you decide the rollers to be, it's up to you, and then you can add the travel kit on top of that for half of its original price, $15, and those deals are stackable. So you can do my 20% off site-wide and then also the half off travel kit, and it's pretty damn cute, and there's some goodies inside as well. So let's, without further ado, dive into the video and talk a little bit more on Sage later. Me trying to film a scenic forest tea, and I just spill stuff everywhere. Like, I can't. I like want to create calm content, and then I'm just chaotic. Some things come natural to some people and not so natural to others. We just have to embrace the uniqueness that we are. Like, my hectic, chaotic, crazy loudness is not gonna go away no matter how calm my environment is. I live in the most serene, calm little cabin ever, and the craziness of me is not just gonna be swept away because of my environment. But I think that adds contrast, that adds a little life. It adds a little unpredictability, and I love that. And to fuel my unpredictability, I need some nourishing food, like this kale salad with this herby tofu that I bought at the grocery store. Where else would I buy it? But after I enjoyed that, I got on making dinner. I was just on my cooking train, so I started it early, so that way I just didn't have to think about it later. I was already in the kitchen, I was already cleaning up, so let's just get into it. Peeled, chopped, and throwing an entire butternut squash on the stove until it was somewhat tender, but not quite. Added red split lentils and a bunch of spices, a pinch of salt, soup stock, garlic powder, turmeric powder, paprika, black pepper, and 1 can of coconut milk. Feel free to add a good pinch of cayenne pepper to the mixture as well, because I do think it needs a little bit of a zing. I just decided to add sriracha sauce on top. You can totally do the same thing. The butternut squash that I had was actually quite sweet, so the soup was sweet. But anyways, a little bit later in the evening when I was ready to eat it, I warmed it back up, blended half of it, for that extra layer of creaminess. The lentils do have to be quite soft for that, so just keep that in mind. And that's also why I used red split lentils, because they only take like 10 minutes to cook, and they were sitting in the soup for several hours, so they were really soft, like basically non-existent by the time I blended it. But I finished the night off with a hot chocolate, my love language, truly. Although I don't film it every single day, I do start my day off with AG1. I just love the stuff. It's become such a habit of mine that I just don't even think about it anymore. Been using it for like 2+ years. This is not sponsored by them. I'm just letting you know that every single morning I do drink that, and I don't always include it in the filming process. But anyways, chocolate oats, adding oats to a pot, water, half a banana. And I made this like chia chocolate pudding thing for a hike that I went on, and I didn't finish all of it, so I added a tablespoon of that to the mixture, which makes it the chocolate oats. Topped it off with the rest of the banana and this macadamia chocolate butter. Oof, it's so freaking good. I know I've said this in another video. To me, frickin' is like not the same thing as the actual F word, and I apologize to anybody that does think it's the same thing. I don't mean any offense, it's just, this is me being me. However, let's move on. Chopping up half of a block of tofu into nice little strip steak things, and consuming all of the warm drinks that I can possibly consume in my life at this moment in time, because although it's summer in the northern hemisphere, it is winter in the southern hemisphere, and it's getting pretty damn chilly here in South Africa. And I don't know why South Africans do not think when they build their houses to add insulation or prepare it for the winter season. It's like it's not a thing for them, but it's like 8, 10, max 15 degrees outside. And during this week, it was like gale force winds, storming, raining, craziness. And there are drafts in my cabin. So at all times, I'm wearing a sweater, a jacket, and a scarf to warm myself up as well. I had the leftover butternut squash soup, added some sriracha sauce on top, of course, and enjoyed that. That actually filled me up for several hours, so I just rewarmed up the tofu that I baked and then enjoyed it with ketchup, because girls just living her best life over here. Sometimes you need ketchup. It makes things better. And I'd like to say a little bit more on today's sponsor, Sage. I know that not everyone believes in the benefits of essential oils, but I think we all can agree that surrounding yourself with less chemicals is a good thing for your overall health. And this is why I love Sage, because I can smell great. I can live my life being a herby girly without worrying about extra ingredients and chemicals in my life. Like for instance, I only moisturize my skin with 100% organic natural shea butter, because I don't trust the other lotions. I don't trust it. I don't trust it, and that is why I choose products and brands that I feel confident in. 10 years with these guys. I am committed to Sage. And the way I like to think about essential oils is your skin is your largest organ. So what you put on your skin does actually matter, because it gets absorbed into your body. So for instance, the stress relief, which is my fave smell-wise, and also just it's so good. I love this. I'm also getting not only the benefits of the beautiful smell, but the lavender, orange, and sage that is being absorbed into my skin, because those are the actual ingredients in these things, 100% natural. They did, however, send me this new essential oil that I've never tried called Gutsy. I hope I'm saying this right. It smells incredible, like sweet fennel, and it's intended to ease discomfort and symptoms of an upset stomach. I'm feeling a bit bloated as my menstrual cycle is coming up like tomorrow. I rolled this on my stomach about 35 minutes ago, and it just felt so nice. Like, I don't know how else to put it, like soothing, relieving, just nice. And because they are natural products, they do take a hot minute to kick in. I would say after I rolled this guy on, it took about 10 to 15 minutes to really feel the effects of it, but I'm just doing it again for show. It's really easy, just roll it on, close it, oh, it just smells so good. And then go about your life. And as you can tell, I'm obviously extremely excited to work with a company that I have loved for so long because I just believe in them. So whether you're looking to relieve stress, maybe you're traveling, jet lag, digestive issues, tension in your head and your neck, or you're just looking to smell great naturally, then I think Sage is for you. The travel kit that I mentioned earlier not only comes, you're not just getting this little bag, you're also getting a hand lotion and a cooling mist. And when you choose the 2 rollers of your choice, whether that's the gutsy like I've talked about already, or the stress relief, which is my favorite smell-wise, you'll get the travel kit and its little goodies for half of the original price, plus the 20% off that you are getting on the entire order. Half price plus 20% off all together in your cart, checking out, delivered to your door. Canadian and US citizens, free shipping. I love Sage and I hope you do as well. So thank you to them for sponsoring today's video and being part of my daily routine for the last like 10 years. Okay, let's get on to the rest of the food. Starting the day off with my love language, hot chocolate, cocoa powder, maca powder, coconut sugar, good amount of water, good splash of oat milk. Call my name. I was also getting all philosophical this morning, listening to Alan Watts. And this weather just calls me to move so slow and just be in my thinking brain, be in my feeling body, and just enjoy myself, you know? So after my hot chocolate, I immediately got into making myself a matcha and then got into making myself some breakfast. We're just keeping it really, really simple for breakfast this week because you don't want the extra stress. I don't need the extra stress. Nobody does. So let's just make our lives simple. Although oats are not the most enjoyable thing. I've said it a million times on this channel. It's not my favorite, but they're simple and I just don't have to think too much about it. So quick oats, water, vanilla protein powder, half of a banana, mix that all together, warm it up, add the rest of the banana and a good chunk of chocolate. Adding chocolate on top just levels everything up and makes you feel like you can actually enjoy oats. Okay, so side note, I prepared a couple things yesterday in the thought that it would be my dinner, but then I decided to just dip tofu in ketchup and that was my dinner instead. So let's just rewind into yesterday to see what I prepped, which is now gonna be today's lunch. Keeping things simple, easy peasy, chopping some yellow potatoes in half, throwing them into a pot, good splash of water, some olive oil. I'm calling this olive oil. It is avocado oil. I'm just so used to saying olive oil. A good sprinkle of salt, covering that with a lid, chucking that in the oven, and then I also boiled these red speckled beans. It was like just under a cup of them because that's all I had. But okay, back from the past into the future, which is the present. So the plan is to make like baked beans type idea, saucy beans. We're chopping up half of it, onion, some garlic, a couple cherry tomatoes because those are the only cherry tomatoes that I had, frying the onion. And then I also off camera chopped up an apple and we're adding the apple for that sweetness. So we're not adding a bunch of sugar to the baked beans because if you look at canned beans and tomato sauce at the grocery store, like the second ingredient is sugar, and apple is just one, adds flavor and adds sweetness. But 3 cloves of garlic, paprika, smoked paprika, chili to taste, tomato paste, good splash of water, and of course salt to taste as well. For a little extra nutrients, I'm gonna massage some kale, about 2 stalks of kale with some lemon juice and some salt. I literally just kept the potatoes in the oven overnight. I wasn't thinking about them at all. I rewarmed them up and then plated everything, topped it off with some dill to make it look all fancy. This was enough to make 2 big meals. I was super nourished and full after each of these meals. So although the beans took a little bit of work and weren't like necessarily truly anti-stress because of the chopping and stuff, I would say it is worth it. And also to lower the stress, you do not have to use dried beans. You can use a can of beans, which in and of itself takes some time off of that meal. And for dinner, we're just gonna chop up a bunch of things and throw them into a pan and just not think about it and shove it into the oven. So we did an onion, a bunch of beets as well. I am like so blessed to figure out that I'm actually not allergic to beets and that it's just like a weird blood pressure thing that beets do to people. And if you eat too many beets, then your blood pressure, it gets all funny and it makes you feel like you're gonna die. Yeah, don't eat a lot of beets in one sitting. take it slow, take it easy. Chopping some carrot as well, and also just crushing some garlic, throwing that on there, covering it with some olive oil / avocado oil, a good sprinkle of salt, black pepper, and making things all herby with some thyme, parsley, basil. And to me, everything needs a little bit of acidity, so I also squeezed in half of a lemon's juice. Add about half of a teaspoon of lemon zest to this as well, I would recommend. Mix everything together and then pop it into the oven until things are done. Depending on how big or small you chop things, that's gonna depend on like bake time, so I'm not gonna tell you my bake time because it's irrelevant to your bake time. And in the meantime, let's make a tahini dressing with tahini, of course, lemon juice, chili oil, a little bit of coconut sugar just to round things off, adding a good splash of water, salt to taste. And once everything was ready, I also added the rest of the block of that herby tofu. I just literally chucked it on top of the veggies. I did nothing to it. I just wanted to warm it up. So once the veggies were almost tender, I threw the tofu into the pan. At this point in the week, I was a little bit sick of oats, so I decided to just warm up leftovers from last night's dinner and have that for breakfast, along with my rooibos tea, good splash of soy milk in there. Yeah, just keeping my life simple and easy this morning. This yellow Thai curry was so delicious and so relatively simple. Yes, you have to chop things, of course, but once everything's in the pot, you just don't really have to think too much. So slicing half of an onion, dicing a couple potatoes, mincing some ginger and garlic. And I personally like to prep everything before, so that way when things are cooking, I can just clean up and, organize myself and think about the actual cooking process. So it's like something's not in the pot while I'm trying to cut something else and things are burning. Life is just a lot more chill if you prep everything first. I got my onion, celery, and carrot into the pot with a good sprinkle of salt. Allowed that to soften a little bit before adding potato and ginger and garlic. Let that get fragrant for about a minute or so before adding the can of coconut milk. I do recommend using full fat coconut milk. I had light coconut milk, and because of that, the curry was a little bit too runny, in my opinion. But I also added 2 tablespoons of yellow curry paste because let's make life simple and not try to make our own Thai curry paste. People do it better than me, so might as well just buy what's better. I did add a little bit of extra chili and some lemongrass, but that's totally optional. Just buy a package of yellow Thai curry paste and just don't think any further. Season with salt accordingly. Plate yourself a bowl, boil yourself a bowl, and enjoy. Of course, you could make noodles with this or serve it with the rice. I just had it kind of like a thick soup. So to spice up today's breakfast, make things a little more interesting, I decided to chop up an apple and kind of boil that in a little bit of water until they were somewhat soft. Added my oats, my vanilla protein powder, a little splash of cinnamon as well, and also a half a banana that I mashed. Mixed everything together until the apples were very tender. Sliced the rest of the banana on top, added my dark chocolate, some coconut sugar. Oof. Again, if you are sick of oats, just add a big chunk of chocolate on top and it will save you and make you a little happy dancy girly like me.
What are you whining about? What are you whining about? The sweet thing. Oh.
And for lunch, just keeping my life simple by warming up the leftover Thai curry. And I think that is the thing about anti-stress meals, is you just don't want to feel stressed by the meal that you're making. It's not about having the perfect diet, in my opinion. I think there's a mixture of so many elements here. The majority of the time, I nourish myself with things that are full of lots of different whole foods, but none of the meals that I'm making are like extremely complex. And I think that's the thing that makes people a lot more intimidated and overwhelmed with cooking, is a lot of the big YouTubers or online people make these really complex meals that you're like, I can't do this. Like, this is not approachable at all. And even for me, somebody that loves cooking, I'm like looking for ideas, and it's like, do this with this pan, and there's like, next thing you know, you've been in the kitchen for 5 hours. There's like 17 pans that are dirty, and you had to like search in like 7 grocery stores for all of these different ingredients that these people are using, and it's just not easy, you know? Like, the most complex thing that I did for this recipe was blend cashews. You may be thinking right now, in this recipe, this is complex, but I literally threw all of this stuff into a pot and blended cashews and then mixed it all together. To me, it's just about knowing how to add flavor to things that are not so complex, that make it feel like you're eating a gourmet meal, when really the soup was done as soon as the potatoes were soft. Guys, this is so good. I highly recommend making this. Like, this is such a weird way to hold a spoon. I think at this point, you know what's up with my morning drink and my oats, so I'm just gonna allow the music to run, and let's just get all vibey with this song.
When you're not here, the sun don't shine. When you're not near, I don't feel like I do when you're with me. It felt like sudden. Our souls collided, hearts entwined. When I decided to make you mine, I'm never going back. I know that's a fact, but how do I know if it's love that I'm speaking of? This is love if I'm making you breakfast. This is love if I feel myself coming down when you're not around. This is love if I think I've gone crazy. This is love if it seems I don't care at all.
Alright, hey, let's get into it. I'm chopping a whole block of firm tofu into cute little cubes, and I'm gonna add these cubes into my baking dish. Look how cute this ceramic baking dish is. Oh, I thrifted it for like probably $2 US, like $3 Canadian. It was like, what a score. Rub my tofu in oil and salt and just chuck that into the oven. And this is a convection oven, so it does like blow air. So I would recommend just adding it to your air fryer, so that way it gets nice and crispy. I'm just prepping a bunch of beets because I bought a huge bag of them, and then I just kept them in the fridge and threw them into meals and stuff over the next like week or so, which I'm also gonna add them into the bowl that I am making. But since the oven is going, I might as well make as much as I possibly can, adding lots of oil, lots of salt, mixing that together and chucking it into the oven as well. And in the meantime, let's get some kale off the stalks. We're gonna massage it, of course, with lemon juice and salt, just the classic things that you massage kale with. It's also great exfoliant for your hands, which actually sounds really disgusting, because like, if it's exfoliating your hands, are you getting your hand skin in your kale salad? Oh no, let's ignore that. Okay, half of an avocado is going in here. We're just gonna massage that, and then I can't get that picture out of my head. Okay, cucumber, our crispy tofu, our beets, and remember that tahini sauce that we made for the previous little roasted veggie bowl? We're just gonna throw the rest of that on top, and that's it. That's all, my friends. And for dinner, I actually had a plan. Like, I usually meal plan my entire week. I write out day one, what I'm making for dinner, what I'm making for lunch, what I'm making for breakfast. I don't know why I did that backwards. And this one was a trill winging it moment. And I don't write out like the full recipe that I'm gonna make for each meal, but it's just like an idea where, okay, I'm gonna make like a creamy potato soup or chocolate oats. Like nothing is precise. So I wing it most of the time anyways. But this one was just like, I want pasta and I want it to be spicy. So I added a bunch of veggies. I fried them up like you saw, ginger, garlic, and then mixed some gochujang with a good amount of water. 2 different types of pasta because I didn't have enough of the one pasta. Leftover tofu. You could literally just do all frozen vegetables into a pot. There you go. Simple, easy, delicious. And with this one, calls the end of today's video. I truly hope you enjoyed it. I love you. I appreciate you for being here. If you try any of these recipes or ideas, let me know down in the comments or over on Instagram. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the day because you deserve it. And remember to take some time to call in what you desire in this life because, my love, you can receive it if you call it in with love. I'll see you again so very soon. Mwah.